But let's move on to all the Cricket World Cup action. The ICC World Cup is starting today, kickstarts today. There's a match that India plays on Sunday, and Cricket Fever is providing a big boost to the India travel industry. There are so many reports of, hotels being booked out completely, flights being booked out completely, and the rates surging through the roof. World Cup fever is surging in both hotel and airline fares, as I said. Prashant Pitti, the co-founder at Easy Trip Planners, joins us now to talk about that. Prashant, thanks a lot for joining in. I mean, this is a great time to be in the business that you're in, right? Given the kind of demand that we're seeing. But can you put some numbers to it? How have volumes been for the World Cup so far this week? And what does that compare, to in terms of an average that we've seen in the preceding months? Just to get a sense of how demand has been.
Absolutely. Firstly, thank you, Sonia, for having me on the show. Sonia, I mean, of course, this year we have a bigger festival, which is called as cricket. And thankfully it's coinciding with the time of other festivals like Diwali. And because of which the demand has been unprecedented, we actually did a little bit of number crunching. And we found out that the demand for this year is 72% more than compared to last year. Since the travel business is cyclical, if I give you month-on-month demand, it won't really matter so much. Hence, I'm comparing with the last year's same time frame, and the demand has gone up by 72%. And especially the routes like Delhi, Ahmedabad for the obvious reasons, have seen a surge of 89%. Then also Delhi, Srinagar is doing really well for the touristy reasons. And Delhi, Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay is up by about 30%. Delhi, Mumbai is up by about 20%. But the biggest spike which we are seeing is basically for Ahmedabad for the cricket match, which is due in the next week.
So Prashant, will be tough to find tickets? Tough to. I mean, is that starting to hurt at the margin? The prices? Is there a bit of
no, not really.
demand destruction as well, just because of how high prices have gone, have risen too?
I don't think so. It is stopping people to go out and watch their favorite cricketers at the Mecca and Medina of the cricket, which is the World Cup. And the hotels, the flights, everything is going chock-a-block. In fact, I believe that the airlines are trying to add up the newer inventory for certain routes. And hence, I don't think so it's eating up the margin in any sense.
Hi, Prashant. Could you tell us what's the mix for the World Cup if you have to compare it? Hotels booking is obviously a smaller proportion of your business, but that's clearly scaling up. So how is that mix working?
So, at the time of listing, as I mentioned, that only 3% of our business was hotel business and remaining was flight business. Now it's almost about 10%. And given that how strong we are growing in our flight business, we have almost quadrupled our flight business. The hotel business has actually grown up by almost 10 times since the listing. And the numbers are continuing to grow. Even in the last quarter, our hotel business grew by 123%. So even though the percentages are low, but of course, the team is feeling the heat of the World Cup and also the festival seasons. And we are going really strong around that. In fact, there are multiple other things which EaseMyTrip has done lately. I don't know if you guys saw our cutting-edge technology which we released last week related to smart voice recognition system. We have created in-house a machine learning algorithm by which you can speak in Hindi, Telugu, Tamil to our voice bot saying that mujhe Delhi se Bombay ki flight jana hai. And then it would actually find you best alternates to basically take your flights or even book hotels and holidays as well. Okay. So it's a very multilingual, NLP, natural language processing system, which we have created. And because of this as well, we are seeing a lot of tier 3, tier 4 people pick up the demand since they don't have to type and they don't have to search themselves. They can just speak and utilize our services.
Interesting one, Prashant. And, I can speak for my co-anchors as well. Share market or not, we have been, closely tracking the story and the way you all have grown the company as well. So kudos on that front with regard to innovations as well. But let's talk about the market share. You've been consistently saying that your market share as well has been increasing from the time of listing. Give us an updated number and where is it headed?
I don't think so. Market shares and the prices are under any of my control or management's control. This is purely
But you could give us an updated number. Prashant, you could give us an updated number as well, according to your calculations.
I think I've said this before. We are targeting profit of about 250 crores for this particular year.
Okay. Profit of 250 crores. Your market share, I think the last time we checked was around 11-12%. Is that right? The overall market share?
No, the market share is about 22% in OTA.
22% in?
OTA.
Okay, okay.
In OTA.
But and what about overall market? I think you were saying 11-12%, right? Overall market.
Basically about 60% of bookings are OTA and remaining are either travel agents or captive. So yes, it cumulates to about 12-13% in overall space.
Okay.
Prashant, we've not seen, because of prices rising, right? I mean, a few months ago, there was all this talk of the government stepping in with some sorts of price control to, because it was becoming an affordability issue. Not heard anything lately?
No, I don't think so. There has been any action on that.
Okay. No talk as well, no discussion or feedback, or I mean, nothing of that sort at all.
I mean, as much as you know, I'm aware of the same thing.
Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about competition because, we've had a new listing, Yatra, and they were telling us about how there's a 20%, 25% growth that they're looking at. Make My Trip has seen their highest ever bookings. I understand that the pie is growing as well, but there's also a lot of competitive intensity. How are you combating that?
I mean, Sonia, we have been combating the competition since we were born. In the first 5 years of Make My Trip, we only put 15 lakh rupees, while everybody had more than at least 200, 300 crores, which they addressed in the format of equity. So clearly, we know how to tackle competition. In fact, even in the last quarter, the results, as per the DGCA, the aviation industry grew by 19%. Year on year for the last quarter, while we grew by around 43%. So even though the competition intensity is there, we barely feel any heat of that. The company is growing. We have a very good virtuous circle because of which the company is winning. People come to us because we don't charge convenience fees. People stick with us because among all the OTAs, we are the only ones who run our own call center and provide customer the best services in the shortest span of time, and because of which our repeat transaction rate is 93%. And since my repeat transaction rate is very high, I'm not overtly dependent on marketing. And since I don't spend much money on marketing, I'm able to do my business profitably. And since I'm able to do my business profitably, I don't charge convenience fees. So this is the circle in which the company is growing. And we barely feel the heat from the competition side.
Just one quick query, Prashant. I think promoter entity had sold some shares recently. Any further sale will we be looking at? Are you comfortable holding on to the stake that you have?
I mean, we met the time when we sold the shares we sold some percentage, about a few months ago. We are comfortable where we are at right now. It was basically, the reasons of sales was basically we had a liquidity crunch and we wanted to share our wealth with our future investor as well. As the company is growing, the future investor insisted on taking a little bit larger pie in the company. And for that particular reason, we had to sell the share.
So no further
sale? But again, even right now, we own 65% of the company. And if you compare us among the other internet companies, where most of the promoters in the other internet companies hold barely between 1% to 10%, we are still highly invested in the company.
So you'll not be selling any further shares, right? In this fiscal? Is there a plan? I mean, as you said, will there be any further sale from promoter entity?
There is no plan of such right now.
Yes. Always good speaking to you, Prashant. Thanks so much for joining. Good times for your industry. And we'll all be cheering together for India to go ahead and lift the World Cup in the next 45 days or so.